Hi, Larry. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing great and I'm glad to be here finally.
Beautiful. Okay, and thank you so very much for being here, Larry. We've tried a couple of times to make this work, but thank God
Yes.
it worked out at last. Okay, Larry, I am quite excited to have you on the show for some reasons, all right? Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. Because I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. And you see, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. Now, the second reason why I'm excited to have Larry on the show is for the sake of the audience. I believe there are some things that Larry knows that some of my audience needs to hear you say these stuff, directly from your mouth, in order for them to experience transformation and get unstuck. And lastly, that is me again. I am convinced that I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from your story, insight, and experiences. So right now, I want you to view us as your student, and you are our teacher. We want to learn from you now. Okay, Larry, for that reason, let's get started with your introduction, your journey. Talk to us how you got here. And afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Larry, over to you.
So, you know, uh, when you're talking about being curious and you're talking about being curious about relationships and marriage, and I think you're thinking about that, right? That's your focus. Uh, what happens when a man and woman come together? They come as reactors. They're reactors because they react to things so easily and so quickly. And so I teach a thing in my course called the invisible lifestyle. And the reason it's called the invisible lifestyle is because it's a way of life or a style of living that reflects the values of a person or group. Well, what is the person or group? It's your parents, it's your mother, it's your father. And so they are the people who build the messages inside your subconscious mind. And when those messages are built, you now own them. So that's the first 10 years. That's 53,000 hours of time that your waking day, 16 hours a day for 10 years is 53,000 hours of time. And you're trying to live through that, collecting all kinds of impressions from your mother and father because they are the people that are building the subconscious for you. And so I have a scale, and the scale is 10 to 0. And I've been asking about this scale for 15 years. I've been asking people. I've got over 1,000 interviews with people recording their place on the scale. And so what I get is I get a guy raised at a 10, and he marries a woman raised at a 2. So the scale goes like this: 10, 9, 8 is purpose, where the parents raise you with purpose. 7, 6, 5 is the twilight zone, where they don't really raise you. And then 5 down to 0 is the chaos world of abandonment, abuse, and neglect. So that can be emotional abandonment, emotional abuse, and emotional neglect. It doesn't have to be physical. So if we look at that as the scale, I've been interviewing people for 15 years, and I've been hearing that she is a 10 and he is a 1, or he is a 9 and she is a 2, right? So I've been getting these recordings of gaps, these big spaces between value systems. And so let's think about what a value system is. A value system is when you're raised at a 10, this is the way we finish our food. This is the way we keep our promises. This is the way we do what we say we're going to do. That's all values. And when you get those values, you don't know you're getting them. They're just coming in and they're storing in your subconscious mind. And then you don't know this, but you're going to live on that collection of ideas. You're going to live on it. It's going to be what your conscious mind is going to get from the subconscious, that this is what I'm going to do. Like, how am I going to do this? Am I going to lie? Am I going to tell the truth? Am I going to be committed or am I going to be dishonest? What am I going to do? where you check the subconscious mind and it tells you exactly what to do. And it tells you over and over and over again. So that's what a chaos kid is. A chaos kid is raised on the low side of that scale. And so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, the more abandonment, the more abuse, the more neglect that you've gotten, the more you're in trouble, because that's what's going to come out in your adult life. And so I talk to people over and over again, year after year, and I get people talking to me, and what do they want to talk about? They want to talk about what just happened. They want to talk about what he thinks, what she thinks, and what they did and what they said. That's what they think about all the time. They think that's all that matters, is what happened in my present life is what needs to happen. So they're talking to Larry, and they're trying to find out how to solve this problem with a relationship. And what are they talking about? They're talking about what he said, what she said, what he did, what she did, what he believes, what she believes. That's what they're talking about. And they're doing it all the time. And they don't know that what I'm living on is my subconscious mind. I'm living on the instructions that was given to me in those first 10 years. And those instructions are permanent. They're in there all the time. And so now we can teach our subconscious mind to change. And the reason we know that is because we drive a car. When we drive a car. So when we're 16, we don't know how to drive. And then we start practicing. And we practice and practice and practice. And we keep on doing it over and over again. And then one day we go on a drive and we talk to a friend for the whole time. And then all of a sudden we wonder how we got here. Well, the reason we wonder how we got here is because the subconscious mind drove the car. And because the subconscious mind can learn to drive a car, the subconscious mind can learn all kinds of things. And so all the people who teach this stuff, they remind us that the subconscious mind can learn, but you have to be a very determined teacher. Your conscious mind has to teach the subconscious mind, this is how we do it here. And when you start to learn this is how we do it here, and the subconscious mind starts to learn this is how we do it here, it's got to be a lot of repetition over and over and over again. Because that's really what the solution is. The solution is not out here in behavior. It's not out here in what you say. It's not out here in what you do. It's not interacting with the stuff outside. It's the subconscious mind. It makes everything. And so that's what the psychology community is saying. 90% of what your life is from the subconscious mind. 90%. And why is that? Because your conscious mind is just a little bit, but the subconscious mind is everything. And so that's ends up, how do you end up in a marriage that's troubled? Well, here's the statistics for you. I've been interviewing people for 15 years using the scale, the same 10 to 0 scale. And I have never had a 10 married to a 9. Not one time. I've never had a 10 married to a 9. You know why I don't have a 10 married to a 9? I don't have a 10 married to a 9 because a 10 has 10 values. A 9 has 9 values, and they're very close. And so they see things very much the same way. And so solving a difference or a problem or a misunderstanding is easy for them. They can go to a little marriage seminar and have a good time and then go, oh, yeah, that's right. And all of a sudden, they're back to normal. I have no 10s and 9s married to each other. What I've got is 10s married to 1s. I've got 9s married to 0s. That's what I've got. And I've got that over and over and over again. And so you don't have to be a rocket scientist to learn that once you've done over 1,000 interviews and you never have 10s married to 9s, it never happens. You realize, oh, so if I'm going to be married, I need a subconscious mind overhaul. I need my subconscious mind to learn a brand new thought system. That's what I need. And so when you start realizing I need to change my subconscious mind thought system, you start to realize, hey, I taught the thing how to drive the car. I can teach new values to the subconscious mind. And so that's really what our job is. Our job is, all of us, we all have this. I have it. We have it. Everybody listening has it. We all have the need to teach our subconscious mind a new thought system. And that's not going to be easy because the subconscious mind is going to resist it. The subconscious mind is going to say, no, that's not what we do here. So when we think about it, let's simplify the 10 to 0 scale. So what happens at 10? Well, you have a set of values. Values like commitment, loyalty, confidence. You have service, kindness. You have encouragement. These are value systems, whole thought systems of these ideas. Acceptance, sharing, forgiveness. This is an example of what happens when you're raised high on the scale. Okay? When you're raised low on the scale by parents who are really troubled and don't solve their subconscious mind issues, you're now in selfishness. You have a value system of selfishness. You have a value system of lying. You have a value system of anger. You have a value system of gossip, of anxiety. You have a value system of fear, of doubt, and of worry. All those are value systems. They're all things that you go to because you think it's good. And so I'm selfish. Why am I selfish? Because I value it. How do I know I value it? Because my father did. Because my mother did. They demonstrated how to do it. I know how to do it. They do. They did it. I'm feeling comfortable in selfishness. I'm feeling comfortable in anger. I'm feeling comfortable in gossiping. I'm feeling comfortable in anxiety. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But now we've got an idea where if we take the negative words of the English language, and we say the negative words of the English language are all the words on the zero side of the scale, and all the positive words of the English language are on the positive side of the scale, now we've got two systems. We've got a negative side of the scale and a positive side of the scale. And what's it made of? It's made of those words. Those words are ideas. And an idea carries energy. And energy is what gets communicated through, not through the body, but through the whole system of your seven energies that are invisible. And what's invisible to you? Your mood, your attitude, your feelings. And now we know about those things, but we don't know very much about my sensitivity. We don't know about my energy, my frequencies, my vibrations. We don't know so much about that, but that's all coming out of you all the time. And because it's flowing out of you all the time, whatever you think, whatever you feel, whatever you vibrate at, whatever is frequency generated, it's coming out of you some way. You're sending it out. Because people say to me, like, but she's not even talking to me anymore. I said, she knows exactly what you're saying. She knows exactly what you're saying because she feels everything. And she's reacting to everything because she's a reactor. And because she's a reactor, she reacts to every single thing you feel. So that means she feels every mood, she feels every attitude, she feels every feeling, and she picks up every sensitivity, every energy, every frequency change, every vibration change, everything she's feeling. And so she knows always what's happening. And the reason we know that is because when a husband and wife are together, if they're having a bad time or whatever, he has to come home in a different emotional state. His seven energies are going to carry it out and send it to her. She's going to pick it up and she's going to go, "What's wrong?" And you know what he's going to do? Nothing. Nothing's wrong. Wait a minute. Something's wrong. Why does she know that? Because she's feeling the seven energies. She's feeling it. Oh my God, it's already coming out. I'm like I'm an open book. Everything I feel is pouring out and she's picking it up. All right. So there's no mysteries or no question, right? So if we take the lower part of the scale and say one of the values that he has is lying, and so he thinks lying is perfectly normal. So what's he going to do? I didn't do that. I wasn't there. I never said that, right? All the things he's going to do is going to be natural to him because lying is a normal part of his value system. And so when you look at people that are in these marriages where he's or she is raised at a high spot and he's raised or she's raised at a low spot, are they going to find any intimacy? Are they going to find any peace? Are they going to find any kindness? Are they going to find any stuff on the high side of the scale? Are they going to find it? No, they're not going to find it. It's not going to be there. And they're going to wonder, why is it not there? It's not there because it's not in the subconscious mind. And if it's not in the subconscious, it's nowhere. And so whatever's in the subconscious is what's coming into the marriage. And so that's really why people fall apart. They fall apart because of these great differences. And my personal demonstration of this being true is, how could I interview people for 15 years and not one time ever find a 10 married to a 9 on the scale? Not one time. It's never happened. Like, can't somebody stumble in? Oh, Larry, listen, we got a problem. I had to pull out the scale, and he says, "Yeah, I'm a 10. I guess she'd be a 9, right?" That's never happened, not one time. So what that convinces
Mm,
me of, it
mm,
convinces me of that the midlife crisis is a very real thing. And the midlife crisis is not just a time to search and find a new path forward. It's not stuff like that. As a midlife crisis is a value system change. And so what happens in a midlife crisis? A person with that value system, that zero value system, that low 1, 2, 3 value system, when they're living in that, what they're doing, and I've discovered this over these years, that people fight their subconscious mind. They fight it. And it's because what's happening is the ideas of that zero value system are coming up. And the person's consciously, they're saying, no, that's not me. I'm not doing that. And so they fight it. They fight the messages of the subconscious over and over and over again. And when I'm talking over and over again, I'm talking about 10, 15, 20 times a day. 20 times a day they're fighting. And so I call this a name. I call it a bucker, like a bucking bronco. They're bucking the system of their subconscious mind.
amazing, Larry. You know, that was a great discovery with your scale, and I dare you. You've actually said some things about the subconscious mind that I haven't really heard of before. And that makes what I said at the beginning come to pass already. I said, I am so sure that I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from you. And that has happened already. And you've literally
Okay.
answered all of my questions. Okay, so to bring this to an end, Larry, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you and learn more about what you do, and maybe you said some things that resonated with them and they'd love to learn more, how can that be possible?
So the website is youcansavethis marriage.com. That's the first one. And the second one is Larry Bilotta, Bilotta, LarryBilotta.com. So both of those have ideas on it, programs on it. But that's where I really expand. Also, if you YouTube Larry Bilotta, you'll see a lot of videos of these ideas. So uh, I think I'm going to leave you with something. I want to leave you with something that I want to leave people with all the time, but they never listen. And the reason they never listen is because they don't want to hear it takes one to heal a marriage. They don't want to hear that. It takes one to heal a marriage. Why does it take one to heal a marriage? Because one person changes their location and they start to move up the scale. They start to move from a low value system to a higher value system. And they do that by teaching the subconscious mind. This is the way we do it here. This is the way we do it here. I'm coming out with a book this year called This Is Not the Woman I Married. It's for men. It's actually a book aimed at men. It's called This Is Not the Woman I Married. And what it's all built on is that this is a warning book to men that you're about to lose your wife. And it's really a 0 to 10 scale thing. Like how do you know you're going to lose your wife? Because you're a 0 or you're a 2 or you're a 1 and she's a 9 or she's a 7, right? That value system is not going to survive. You're not going to keep on living like that. You've got to make a change. And so that's really what I'm doing. I'm getting into the subconscious mind in that book and teaching them the how to of how do you change the subconscious mind into new content that you can live
Beautiful,
on.
beautiful. I love that. That's a great job you're doing. And it's a very important aspect of the human life, because, the increase in divorce rate is actually alarming. And I think with what you're doing, you're actually going to help, you know, offer a solution to that problem. And that's a great job there, Larry. Keep it up, man.
Thanks,
Okay,
Cecil.
so yeah, so that's gonna be the end of the show. Thank you for coming, Larry, and thank you for sharing this powerful insight with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, Cecil. All right. Bye bye.